guys, TJ here. I'm signing back on to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. So we pretty much figured out who killed Jake's brother. Accidentally, in this case. And we're in the final part of the trial. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals! That is not how deep his voice was. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You've got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run around while on duty. To top it all off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. I feel like we're having deja vu. Didn't this happen the last time you... I take it Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give you this if there was a break in today's trial. A book about evidence law. Evidence law? Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? Seems so. You can at least study some evidence law, really. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book. Him? I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. From the sky, explains the 2 rules of evidence law. It doesn't look like that book will do any good. We'll see about that. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of police department. Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Okay. Let's keep that in mind. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat? Despite all these allegations being thrown at me? Mr. Edgeworth, the real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility's been all ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Emma Skye found out she unwittingly caused a man's death. And now you're telling me you want to do more? You've got to be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, Detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him. No matter what it takes. Yeah! This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. February 25th, 1252, District Court, Court Room Number 9. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness, but, this isn't easy to say. You see, there's some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witnesses? I didn't say that! It's just, you see, everyone has been talking, and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual argument, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. The defense may now call forward the next witness. Mr. Wright, you do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. The defense calls. The time has finally come to bring out the real murderer. Yes, Gant. Coming out. Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way, considering... Unfortunately, yes, considering how that bastard is... Definitely. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. He's as stubborn as a mule in most times. Alright, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. I'm going to press you flatter than a pancake. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir? Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball, huh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name's Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto, what's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. It was an accident? Don't even. I will kill you myself, even though I do not have the option to do so. Hang on, I need to check something. One sec. Okay, I'm just seeing things. There are still some things unaccounted for. Well, like what? Like the role you played in all of this? Son, either you're very brave, or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Is that a threat? Please tell me that's a threat! Please tell me that's a threat. I will have every right to defend myself if you enact on those threats. Not to mention there is also, at least in the US, I don't know about Japan, there is a law about threatening bodily harm. I could put you under those if such a law is included in this. Weapons. Sure, take my testimony for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well. The witness may now begin his testimony. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Dark was arrested? Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. I see. Everything seems to be pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I'd better hit him hard and fast. As I recall, a ceremony was being held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Dark and made him run away like that. Was the defendant Lana Skye also present in the room? I don't quite remember. I've already got you on something, bitch! At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it. Already got you on something. But that actually doesn't say anything as to contradict this particular statement. Okay. Long story short, power outage didn't help either. So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs, I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky. What's this about a power outage? Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden, and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil when that knife went. That's not funny. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and that serial killer were lying on a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Dark was also lying, collapsed on the floor. That was Phoenix Wright. I don't know why I did. Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor? Yeah, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body, it had already been moved. So that means you found the body near Lana's desk. That's right. I think you said earlier it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Yes. Anyway, as you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office? That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt, but moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstances. Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you'd be better off staring at the court record. Worthy, always a smooth talker. Which piece of evidence ties Gant to the forgery? Lana did admit to forging evidence, but that can't be the whole truth. Somehow I've got to lead Gant to the incident. Okay, let me take a little bit to look at the evidence. Yeah, it was found in Gant's safe. Found in Gant's desk. This would probably be the better piece to tie him to it. Because it was found in his desk. Not his desk. This was his desk. This was his safe. This is risky. But I think this ties him to it. If you really had nothing to do with the forgery, then how do you explain this? What's that? And what's that on it? A handprint? Chief Gant, your explanation, please. I don't know. You tell me, son. Huh? My dear Righto, don't you know the second rule of evidence law? Uh-oh, not this again. Evidence law. Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Tell me, how was that rag relevant to this trial? It appears the defense was not prepared. I guess it's too early to use this piece of evidence. Please accept my profound apologies, Chief. Would you mind giving the defense another chance? Well, okay. I'll do it just once. But only because you asked, Edgy. Thank you. I assure you, the defense is terribly sorry. Yeah. Sorry I didn't nail you. So what? What evidence? The only other thing, like, Lana was at the ceremony. Lana was there during the ceremony. So that quip he made when I pushed him on this is wrong. But considering the base question is Neil and I were questioning him that day, what does this do? This is the award ceremony. This is before the questioning. Lana could very well not even been there, like at the questioning. Half of this list was found in Gant's desk. I can try hitting him with this, but there's... It's the most relevant I can think. This is half of the list of the evidence of the SL9 was found in that desk. You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Now explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this list, for example. That's the list Emma Skye drew her picture on. It was discovered in your desk. Not only that, but a piece of this jar was sitting in your office. Was found inside your safe. It was found where? You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in an illegal investigation. Chief Gant, what's the meaning of this? Here's a defense attorney who may even rival worthy. I've been rivaling him this whole game. The fuck are you talking about? So you admit to it then, that you were involved in the forgery. Who, me? Or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that! Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Uh-oh, he's gonna get us on that, isn't he? Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. But defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My. Kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. I'll put my two and two in your fucking mouth. How about that? Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I'm the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. What is this now? Gaunt swinging his tiny little dick around. How cute. Is it time for a circumcision? Oh. Indeed, I believe I will press charges so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but do you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. Alright, Aji, in return, though. I know. That place, right? What are these guys, telepathic? Well, I know you could have planted in my office. I'd appreciate if you stopped making these ridiculous allegations. You have no proof of that either, you know. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. Yeah? And it's dumb. It's a dumb thing to do. Especially if I'm trying to get my client off. Why the fuck would I do that? What? I'll have you know, back in the day I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped... Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry in the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're going to need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when Righto's prints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, they would prove his investigation was illegal. I've never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. And we've seen some pretty shitty people in this entire game so far. This is only the last case of the first game. We've seen some shitty people. What do you mean by that? And this is all purely hypothetical, of course. But suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery. I'm not through speaking yet, Righto. All depends on when the evidence was discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient? Right? The chief is talking about a possibility. So as long as you can't rule that out, your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know. Come on, Righto. Think about it. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent? Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word murder here. But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise... Is that murder? It was an accident, you dillweed! Not you, Judge. You're fine. You're recognizing that part. I'm talking to Gant. It was Emma Skye. Well, now do you see? Ravaging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Really, Chief Gant. At the very least, there is one very large benefit you've reaped from all this. Oh? I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would, of course, be the position you have. Chief of Police. Oh! The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive. Oh, that's a good one. Do you really think I'm that incompetent? Incompetent? No. You're actually one of the more slyer slime balls I've dealt with this entire game. There's a reason you've manipulated Lana so this whole time. But even the best slip up. I'm gonna make sure that happens to you. What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up an inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes, he was going to be made chief anyway. Get! Careful when pointing a finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. Why did I think you were going to say something about biting my finger off? So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. Right, he was the one who got Lana into the chief prosecutor position. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There, it's out in the open. Would you mind if I change my testimony a little? By all means, please do. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Like a pawn in the prosecutor's office? Nothing in it for you. Where does it say anything about him having put Lana in the prosecutor's office? Do I just gotta show them the picture with Lana in it? That would... I just realized there's no present. I might have accidentally clicked the... Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. And that girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again. You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on a crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though? That's a good one, Worthy. Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, he would he have helped someone out? Point out accomplice. True, you might not help out anyone for their sake. But if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I mean. Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? Sorry about this, Lana. It's to put him behind bars.
Take that!
Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye? The defendant? I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed Chief Prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how would he profit from all this? He would be able to use the Chief Prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the Chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? I think we have the wrong idea here. Oh, wait! You must mean puppet as in somehow forced to do his bidding. Never mind. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive to appoint her as Chief Prosecutor so you could control her. Righto, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana. She's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than conjecture. Unless... That is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Which one would that be? And of course I'm talking about... the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The Chief Prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this... What? Excuse me. Apparently I'm swallowing spit. Throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. Worthy, you'd better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. I'd watch your tongue. We have 2 different knives to cut it off with. Granted, one of them, they're both bloody, so you might get a little infection, but maybe it'll finally shut you up. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? Order! 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 I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. Huh? This isn't an affront to the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder? That's impossible! Boy, the judge is really out of it! Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edwards said in easier-to-understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. Looks like he's the one who decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got. And it better be good. Is this the time to use the thing? Hang on. In case I mess up all few times. Show us the evidence that this Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Oh, Detective Goodman. Oh, fuck me. Besides this? Besides the ID? That's all I got. This is all I really have. This is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 77s. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that that's my card number. It's your number. To say that so straight-faced, just nah, it's your number. Well, how do you know that? The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 7 sevens. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Ooh! Look at him sweat! I'm loving this! Order! Order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations. And I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Chief Gant, so you admit it? You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime? What about it? I'm chief of police. Whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom, what's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Ooh, someone's swinging his tiny little dick around again. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone. Ha ha, very funny. Now answer the goddamn question! As I do it. Oh, wait, he did. Oops. I just needed to read a little bit more. I'll apologize for this one, but that's it. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him in days. Chief Gant, I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? The trial's purpose is to determine Lana's guy's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met with the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that... Show proof that Chief Gant... The victim went to meet Chief Gant the same day of the crime. This is just time, so that tells us nothing. But yeah, they would have had to have met. Right. I saw 9. 12:21. 12:21. Are you kidding me? Oh. Actually, no. Maybe he's not. I think I'm gonna have to go see Chief Gant. Sorry to interrupt your revelings, but the court is waiting. Oops. Why don't you come with me tomorrow? Perhaps we could write up your letter of termination. Blah blah blah. Okay, I'm gonna need to... I am thinking this because Edgeworth was given this at the police department.
Take that!
Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or, to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filed a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the chief of police. Yet you are in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh! Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I think I'm stupid. I might be stupid. Am I stupid? Yeah, I'm stupid. Anyway, I accompanied him. There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on. Let me guess what you're going to say. You used your ID to open it, and you both went in. I, the chief of police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. But wait, the chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. You could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was the only one used. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. No! Jesus Christ, that freak out! Chief Gant, you didn't! The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, where no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office's parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. He put it in your car! Edgy. Did we forget that? It was in your car. He was in your car. It was in the trunk of your car. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey, you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time I thought it was a useless clue, just taking up space. How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us the evidence. Okay, I am on 2. I am on 2. Just in case. To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used this. Used what? The Blue Badger? I don't think so. This is so beyond dumb. Why am I thinking he used the Blue Badger? There would have been blood on it. Wait, no. Yeah, he used Edgeworth's car. How do I prove that? This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. A parking stop? Oh, Edgeworth. You mean The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edwards' car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. You mean I carried the victim's body? Precisely so. Unknowingly. But wait, even you know, I didn't plan on returning to my office after the ceremony finished that day. But you did return. Tell me, why? I was asked to go, by Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted to keep it in here keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. So you see, what you were really taking to the prosecutor's office wasn't the screwdriver, but the victim's body in your trunk. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edwards' car. Yes, unless of course you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye. Order! 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 What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It's a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gant, please say something. I believe your time's up. My time's up? Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're to make it in time for the early bird special. You ain't going anywhere, little bitch. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goldman? That's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I had Alana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright? Your Honor, do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of the body. Do we? I don't think we do. We might actually be in trouble. Unless we can make Lana Skye testify. Do we have any concrete proof? It's like, seriously, do I? There's no prints. Victim's memo. Muffler. I don't know if I do? This is risky. I can't let him just squirm his way out of this. I've got to keep the pressure on. Yes, Your Honor. I do have such evidence. Then please, hurry up and present it. Just remember, it better prove Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodwin beyond a shadow of a doubt. Okay, so, yeah, I have no proof. So he's showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence. See, Uji? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the Chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, Righto. Seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Uji, I'll leave the rest to you. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's enforcement agency.
Objection!
Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth? What do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth. Another witness. In the absence of conclusive evidence, there is only one other method of proof: is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. And there's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. We gotta get Lana to... Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth. We can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth Lana Skye.
Take that!
The defendant... Miss Lana Skye? She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 on February 21st. Her task, to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in Hold on. Chief Gant! I thought you were going to eat! Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. You mean besides you being in handcuffs? How awful. That's right. Your sister would be found guilty for— It was an accident! You actual piece of garbage! I'm okay. Pissed, but okay. This isn't good. Of course you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then. I've got a lunch date to meet. I wonder if he'll be arrested at that lunch date. That would be fun. Okay, if there aren't any further objections. This court is now in recess. February 25th, 2:04 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 2. I like reading it like that. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, I see your help, Edgeworth. That chief, he's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe. I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure. I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with. Could you mean Maya? Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair. He has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said? But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risks? What do you mean by that? It's simple. If the Chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits the right to say anything too? Hey, Emma! How you doing? Emma! Are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she's heard everything that's been going on. Even what Gant threatened her sister with. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by a terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders? She must have shut herself up deep inside. To force herself to do anything and everything that Chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I'm... It was an accident? I will say that until the end of time, as with when Edgeworth threw the gun. Had that actually been the reason his dad was shot? Even though it wasn't, it would have been an accident. What you did was an accident. You thought you were defending Neil Marshall from Joe Dark. It was dark. You couldn't see anything. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery. But he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, we'd better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait? No, I'm going with you. I want to be there. When Alana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. Oh boy. Here we go. February 25th, 2:21 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Law in the Sky, please take the stand? Miss Law in the Sky, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Sky. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course. The truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. Sorry I need to press you. I'll try and be gentle, okay? Like I tried to be for Emma. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated evidence 2 years ago all by myself. And when I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana! If this is true, then that means Chief Gaunt has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. What if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see. I was 24 then, so that would be 5 years. Detective Gaunt and Detective Sky were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases. She must have been good coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gant was a respectable detective. That's why there's no truth to this blackmail theory. But think about it, Miss Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman, and he just threatened you with your own sister's prosecution. If that ain't blackmail, I don't know what is. Hello? You told me as such yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. I can't see you moving Neil's body. No offense. But if we're talking about... okay, that's Goodman. Here, Neil. 27 male. Men! Like... although she is a detective, who knows what kind of... who knows how fit she actually is. It's not like we're getting to see under that blazer. Did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana. So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago? I found the prosecutor marshal's body. I rearranged the crime scene. You say you did this all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's body. What? But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change the statement. You mean, Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that. If that's so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh! That was lying on the floor, a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. Oh, just to protect me. So when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boy, my boy. I swear I can read. Everything boils down to. Yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, then moved the body. You planted the tip of you, and then you moved the body. I did not finish reading that. But why? Why would you do that? You of all people to know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I had to ask for the sake of others. Why did you plant the knife? But why did you do that? Come now, Mr. Wright. Even you should be able to figure it out. Answer the question, please! You're making this difficult! I did it again! I hit the stop recording button. I hate myself. We're adding what she said to the testimony. The reason Miss Guy fabricated the knife. I knew the tip of the weapon found buried in his body would be all the proof we needed. According to your testimony, Prosecutor Marshall's broken knife was the murder weapon, right? Yes, and leaving it at that, my point to blame away from Dark. I felt the most effective. I'm not having a good day today. I'm still upset at Gant. And I'm mad at myself for accidentally pushing the fucking stop recording button. I felt the most effective way to get him convicted would be by having the tip of his knife found inside the victim's body. So you buried it in the victim's stab wound? Yes, because I hated Dark for what he did. How? My only motivation was to get Dark convicted, and that had nothing to do with Emma. So you rearranged the crime scene. You sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it. Period. You're so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence? She's lying! She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened. In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions. Mr. Wright, my sister's lying! Looks like she's determined to protect you to the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself. There's no way she could have done it alone. I've got to get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. Okay. No truth to his blackmail theory. And unfortunately, what she said to us in the jail, she's saying can't be used. Today really is not my day. Right, so, there were two questions that I could ask for this one. I asked one. Let's see what the other one is. Why did you move the body? We asked why did you plant the knife, but we didn't ask why did you move the body. When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gaunt's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason Miss Guy moved the body. Pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Pieces of the jar You mean... Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. Okay, expedient. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead, and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, but then how would he have had time to write Emma's name on the jar if it was already broken? Lana? I see. What's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there's more to it than that. There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone.
Objection!
Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that's true, if that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I'm compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. Contradiction in my testimony? You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly. So, and this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Order! Order! Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth toward which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well. The witness may now continue her testimony. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar. But it was dark in the room. I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were so large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. Why was one piece in God? You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. So the jar was already broken. It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. It certainly looks as feeble as the defense's case. Rude. Not as feeble as the judge's judgment. You were an ace detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally I would have. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them into dust. Well, that helps my case. Lana, you do that for me? Seems you two might make up yet. Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was. If someone happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was? I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. This is a rather shocking... To be safe, I wiped away the blood. I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? If you really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in that situation? Lana, I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces. But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in that office. A detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket knife and a camera with me. Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. I never miss anything. I got out every last piece. So you illegally rearranged the crime scene? Yes. I don't have any excuses for my actions. I'm so sorry, Lana. I didn't know. I've treated you so badly all this time. It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to make up. After we've gotten to the bottom of this incident, no doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of the prosecutor's office. More contradictions have surfaced in her testimony. Your sister's really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. I think I've finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony. There's one final possibility that might turn everything around. Now, would it be the drawing that Emma made? But she didn't get it all. Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals a truth even you were unaware of. What? We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gaunt's safe. In the Chief's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gaunt got there before you. But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were mouthed. Anyway, have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that. There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. Gant. Chief Asshole. Fine. Why am I messing up Chief Gant's name? At the time, he was looking for Dark downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why would he break the jar? The question is, if he did arrive at there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No. Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Damon Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposefully hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is that action called? Fabrication of evidence. But why would Chief Gant do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma, and therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Guy became the Chief's puppet. Ouch! Don't bite so hard! No, I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the Chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client. I guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth. Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana may be right after all. What do you mean, right? So you do tell foul lies then, right? Miss Skye, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Skye, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. Alright, the witness may testify once more for the final time. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it at all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor sword? You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that. Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright? She really does have faith in you. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please, present this picture. I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana. She said she gave it to you this morning, right? The book! I seem to remember getting something from her then. It's in the book! It's in the book! It's in the book! Let's check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere. What is this? How do I open this? There's something there! Do not lie to me, game! Let me open this! There we go. Thank you. Hey! There's a picture here! That was Phoenix, not Emma? Oh. Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this. Because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had rearranged everything. Mr. Wright, a piece cut out from his vest. Could that be the cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe? What's this? This is a handprint, isn't it? With Emma's prints. A cloth. It had fingerprints on it. Whoever fingerprints those are must be the real murderer. What? Those fingerprints! They're yours, Emma! Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flesh out the real murderer. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. It's gonna be real bad. Just immediate hold it. Gant? Aren't you supposed to be at lunch? I was hoping to arrest you during that. Come now, Edgy. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen. Chief Gant. What, now you want to make me out as the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense.
Objection!
I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be that risk we were talking about earlier. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. Edgy. Edgy. Huh. So what? You think I'm worried? Yes? Sorry to disappoint you. But I don't need to make any statements. Yes, then why are you here? Why are you here? Are we sure you're not incompetent? Why are you here if you didn't want to make any statements? Excuse me. What? What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't. But someone does. Someone? So, what's your excuse, righto? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death? Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt? Is that true, Mr. Wright? Oh boy. If I show that piece of evidence now, Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer. It was an accident. She meant the pushing part? Yeah, she meant to do it with Dark. The power was out. Okay? Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now. And if you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. What do I do now? I better think this through carefully. Can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall? Why was it ripped in the first place? Hang on. Was it ripped? That's far too clean to have been ripped. It had to have been cut. I'll get in trouble if I don't. I don't want to. 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 For Emma's sake. I can't. I won't. I won't. No. No, no, no. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie! Chief Gant? You opened my safe! I know you took what was inside! The conclusive evidence! I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together! Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about, Chief Gant? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? It looks like part of it's been cut off for some reason. You mean you have this in your safe? What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Righto. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean, you admit to it? I don't know why, I just imagine his voice getting higher and higher with each one. I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana. So you really were manipulating her. I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay with her sister, that when she saw the scene, she would ask for my ID. Did you... She was unconscious. You touched her? You touched Lana. Not Lana. Not Lana. You didn't touch Lana. You touched Emma. Now you're really in for it, big boy? No, little boy. So you assisted Miss Sky. I told her to arrange all the evidence. I heard her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted. When I tampered with the crime scene, I had 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you. 2 pieces of evidence. You mean those items in your safe? But why? For insurance, of course. Insurance. I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed. You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence? What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. Kind of questioning that at this point. See this jar fragment? I hit the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off all the pieces. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar too? Oh. Good point, Edgy. Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance. The fingerprints you fabricated on... I am going to destroy you. You mean a piece of cloth? Come on, Righto. Cough it up already. I know you have it. What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright? So you admit to it then, Chief Gant. That you were hiding the cloth you cut from the victim's vest in your safe. Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all. But it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer, which you are. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence you could present. Foolish move, Righto. You should have shown it then before it was too late. It's been a long battle. But the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. Okay, I feel like I definitely have no choice but to show the evidence. Right? Right? Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now. Alright then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh, yes! At last, you finally brought it out into the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that immediately be sent to the labs for analysis. This handprint on the leather. There must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. You mean, it could not have been forged. It must... I fucked up again. Rhino had all this time to present the evidence, yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be? You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that. Mr. Wright, do you really know? Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Very well. I'll tell you. Should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person to whom these fingerprints belong to is... They're Emma's. They're Emma's fingerprints. But he had to have forged them. Taken her hand and imprinted it. He wears gloves like constantly, so... Emma Sky? What? They're mine? I'm sorry, Emma. But why? Why didn't you tell me? Why do you think? You're really something, Righto. You knew this girl did it all along, and you still tried to pin the murder on me. So it's true. Tragic, but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death. How could you? You monster! Miss Sky? You knew whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't. Miss Sky, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. But I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career too. You purposefully concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue. Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh? And what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gant, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It was Emma Sky, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? A contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? I have no idea. Don't ask me. I'm not in on this. I'm talking about a contradiction. One that proves who the real killer is. Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth. What could it possibly contradict? Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. What? Oh! piece of cloth now covered in blood! And what exactly is this supposed to be? This is the picture Miss Guy took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of his vest was cut out? Yes. The shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs no doubt were punctured. Blood poured out from his mouth. Oh, but that piece of cloth! Wait. There's no blood on it. Ugh! Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on that sword at the time. No, this is nonsense! Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Alana Sky? Picked up the unconscious prosecutor and impaled him on the armor's sword. Then to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. A jar that they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue. And make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of the victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it? Though the very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer. No! It's finally all over. That was close, Rhino. You almost had me. Why are you sweating bullets, then? Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean you refute his allegations? You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence. Then technically, so is the piece of jar. Order, order! What is this nonsense? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Aji? Earlier, old Rhino here concealed that piece of cloth. So then, what's your excuse, Rhino? You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this time. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, a piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence. But that's not fair! Did you actually think you could pester me in court? If I didn't, you wouldn't be sweating bullets. Now would you, Ganti? Looks like the last laugh's on you, son. I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth? True. Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. Well, Mr. Wright? It seems at last. Time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? That you purposefully and illegally concealed this piece of cloth? I mean, I purposefully concealed it until I presented it. Did I? Wait, did I actually? Yes, I did conceal it until the time was right, apparently. I'm gonna try something, and it's crazy. I admit I refused to present it at one point. Aha! So the evidence is illegal. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. Huh? It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't. What do you mean, you couldn't? There were certain procedures involved when presenting evidence. No, Oji! Don't listen to his lies! He's nothing but a coward. You can't really believe. There's only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Very well. Let us settle this once and for all. Earlier, you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so. I have a book here. This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth. Nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself inside your safe. It goes without saying, I did not have approval from the police department. Rule number 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case and trial. And here's the crux of the matter. You see, at the time, it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and... Sorry, but can you recall when was that picture presented? That was shown only a few moments ago. No. He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh, yes. No. It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer, and there's only one person who that could be. Damon Gant! The killer was you! Oh, he's lost it. He's lost his mind. He's absolutely lost his mind. He's gone. His mind is shattered. He's gone. I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum. For 2 years he's been snooping around that department, trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Star, then convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman? Yeah, that's right. If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you've got to help me. Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then all of a sudden, he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered. He opened his evidence locker, and as he was taking the evidence out, he said, "It's not too late. I'm going to hand all this over to Marshall." Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up Assault 9. That's when I saw it. The cursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out. Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worrying so much about the floor I didn't realize my fatal mistake. The bloody handprint. On Detective Gumshoe's locker. I used to be known as the crime computer, but everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. Then you put the body in my car. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will. The fuck? Leaving the prosecution's car aside, how? How could you get Miss Skye involved in all this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out. So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker. I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take. So, you left the jar fragments and the glove. Yeah. Looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court? Me? You despise criminals. I can feel it, you and me. We're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Aji. What? It looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend. I'm sorry too, Damon Gant. I knew you as you used to be long ago. You were once a fine investigator and an example to others in the force. I am sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Aji. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Righto here. And Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning. There are two things I want you to understand. Yes? First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Skye? You no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had help got me forge evidence up until today. So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered. I'm sorry, Miss Skye. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My. What high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you just might make it to the top. Oh, you're cute when you smile. I offer you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Miss Skye. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. It was nothing. The tsundere's coming out, Edgy. Liar. I was worried the pressure might break you. And yet, You rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop it! I only did my job. It's not like I cared or anything. Baka. Oh, Eiji the Tsundere. In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Sky. Yes, Your Honor? You are innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date. Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling? It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains. Well, this trial has gone on far too long already. I agree. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, not guilty. Bitch! Yes! That is all. This court is adjourned. February 25th, 5:03 p.m. District Court. Defendant lobby number 2. At long last. It's finally over. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook. But at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended, I can see why Mia Fey thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as I have over these past few days. You've done well. You know, I did my best too, but Lana didn't say a single word to me. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Third time. This is the third time. Oh. Guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run around while on duty, and to top off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding. Oh. Are you here because of my sister again? Nope. Not this time. I came today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. Lana! Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell if you won't. Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day 2 years ago. Was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. Sis. I asked God to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake. But now, I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But sis, you were only doing it for me! No. Huh? I turned my back on you that day. And hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you. Sis. I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have. Oh, Emma. Emma. No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in doing so, we can find a way back to our rightful path. And it is from there that we can move on toward a brighter future. At least that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe. Me? Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come over here. Where was he hiding? I just came to say congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth! Right. Well, I'll be going now. Your student today is still showing! Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realize today that I can't correct my mistakes. Mr. Edgeworth. Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right. We despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I needed a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for some time now. But Edgeworth! Who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. You said in order to fight crime on my own, I need a weapon. That may be true, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright, and because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Oh, yeah. This is a pub quiz. Come on, Mr. Wright, show what Milana's talking about. Evidence, huh? Something that neither Edric nor I would have been able to find on our own. Which was what? There were a ton of things, actually. Was it the picture? No. Oh. That might mean something to you, but I don't see how it had anything to do with our partnership. Huh? Mr. Wright, it seems you still have a lot to learn as well. I guess that wasn't the right piece of evidence. It's time for me to go. Mr. Edgeworth? If you'll excuse me, there are still some loose ends I need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. Edgeworth! What will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember. You can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you. I know. It seems I owe you my thanks too, Bright. But what I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. I'd better be going too. Okay, but I'll still be by to visit soon. It seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you. Scientific investigation. It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis! I will! And so, another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself. Well, don't go trucking off just yet, pal. Huh? What is it, detective? There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this. But I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story. Huh? Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Huh? Way to go, detective! I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Right there, here's the one who will be putting the bill. God damn it. Huh? Huh? What, you think I could afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Why is it I suddenly feel like I want to scream? Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together? Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go. Oh, boy. Well, that's the end of this game. I have for a friend of mine to take care of Emma. I hope she'll be pleased to study at the coroner. As for me, this affair pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then, I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma. We still got 2 games to go through. This is a trilogy, after all. Yikes! I thought I was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. If we penalized you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. It just goes to show, you can't shake me off that easily. I'm gonna give my final thoughts when I actually beat all 3. But I legitimately have had fun with this. With the first game, anyways. Despite some of my, accidents. My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them, though. Someday I'm going to make detective. I'm glad I'll never see you again. God, that hurts my ears every time. Well, it looks like some of the credits are a what will they do now type of thing. I'll be glad to never see you too, unless you're going to be in front of the thing for the entire trilogy. Oh, he broke. This last one was... Oh, boy. What is it? Can't you see I'm having me a showdown with a steak lunch partner? Miss John managed to sneak this into me. She's stayed in one of the guards, it seems. Well, cowboy, looks like you did it. You even gave Bambina back her smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get water? Hi. Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. As a farewell gift, I put a new meal on the menu. The right way lunch. The top layer tastes bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer is as sweet as victory. Can't seem to take the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller around exam time. Just make sure not to eat it backwards. Yeah. Then first you'll get the sweet taste of victory and end up with the sour taste of defeat. Which way are they supposed to know to eat, by the way? But, more. I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Johnson. Anyway, he said he's been doing something or other for, how many years? Well, anyway, I've got another trial to get to, so I better be... Oh no, I forgot my gavel! Sorry, gotta go. Judge, how messy of you to forget your gavel. Oy vey. Look, the only reason I haven't gone yet is because of these little itty-bitty bits. But just so far, Edgeworth and Wright, Maya! Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objection! Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium. Mystic Maya, afternoon training was about to begin. Coming! Well, see you around, Nick. I miss you, Maya. I really do. So, to be honest, Emma was a trip to be around. In more ways than one. I still prefer Maya over Emma, if I'm gonna be honest. But she's alright. Yep. Just alright. Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth? I brought you your tea. What's going on? What does it say? Don't leave me hanging in here! What's it say? This is gonna be a long episode, by the way. If it weren't for these, I'd be out here already. Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book. Did she put a picture of her in there? No, there's... No, yeah! There's a picture of her and Emma when she was really little. This must have been when she graduated the academy. Alright. In the next episode, we will be starting Justice for All, Ace Attorney 2. So, till then, I'm signing off. Bye-bye.